my name is Saint Tao. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I just wanted to take this moment to share with you guys what I did this past Saturday on February 1st. Just gonna get right into it. What I did this past Saturday, I had an audition with Esteem Entertainment. Woohoo! If you don't know what Esteem Entertainment is, it's actually just a branch off of SM Entertainment, but their main focus is on modeling. For this audition, they also audition singers, dancers, actors, as well as influencers and entertainers. So with that said, I also wanted to share some pros and cons about my experience auditioning with them, along with some tips that I hope will be helpful to anyone who would like to go to any audition. It doesn't have to be for SM or just just auditions in general. So let's just get started. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the cons first because I like to give the bad news before I give the good news. Okay, so the first on my list for cons is that being from Minnesota, I actually had to fly to New York City because that's where the audition was. Not only that, I had a notification that I had been selected to audition for Esteem Entertainment a week before I had to fly out for the audition, meaning I bought my plane ticket a week before I had to fly out, meaning that it was expensive. My ticket alone was like $325. So that was definitely a con for me because I would have liked at least a month I had noticed, but I don't know, that I'm not them and I don't know how they do business. So yeah, that's definitely on top of my list for cons. The second con that I had was that the audition was held at a really small place. It was held at the Helen Mills event center. Like when you look at it, it's really small. It seems pretty roomy, but when you get in, it was really small. You just imagine like 300 to 400 people sitting in this one event room. Like it was really small, and not only that was that not everybody was in the same room. The actors, singers, dancers, everybody was in the same room. Everybody saw you audition. But I think more specifically, I went as a singer, but as a dancer, it was really hard because the auditioning area or the dance area was really small. So not only, and also there was like everything was in there, like the cameras, the judges, the other people auditioning. So it was just a small area that was held. I would prefer at least a separate room for where the audition itself was held, and then everybody else kind of stayed in a different room. But again, it's not me, it's them. The next one is there was actually a little delay in starting the audition because they had numbered off people incorrectly, because they had numbered off people differently, and the way they numbered off people didn't line up with the way they numbered off the music list that they had of songs that people had sent in that they were going to audition with. So yeah, that was a delay. We didn't start right away. Let's see. The next one was this is just maybe a personal thing, like how I viewed it, but the judges seemed almost uninterested most of the time. Like after you get what happened was that the entertainers or the influencers auditioned first, and then it was the dancers, and then it was the actors, and then well, no, it was the dancers. Yeah, it was the dancers. Oh no, never mind. The singers was last, so I was in the group that was last, besides the modeling. But they had a second separate session. But by the time it got to what I meant was by the time it got to the singers, the judges came off very uninterested. Like I yeah, from what I saw, only like one singer actually made it. But I don't know if anybody else after me had made it, because once I was done with my audition, I left. So so yeah, the judges really seemed uninterested by like the very end of it, which I thought was, I don't know, it was really discouraging. But the next one is actually the judges cut your audition short. So for me specifically, I was only able to get like one verse of my song in before they were like, okay, thank you. So I was like, okay. But personally, I think I was like one of the better singers there. So that's like just an example of how uninterested they were to actually get a singer. But at the same time, I understand they probably see like a lot of a lot of people like me who are good, but just don't really have it. So again, it was like kind of discouraging, but it wasn't like, I wasn't sad or anything. I was just kind of like, okay, laters. Okay, so that's the end of my cons. I probably have a lot more, but those are just the specific ones that I have. So going on to the pros. Okay, so the pro on the top of my list is that there's actually a variety of ages there. Being 28 years old, I was actually surprised that I was even auditioning. But I also met a 27-year-old there who was really sweet. I sat next to a 15-year-old and a 27-year-old. So I was like, oh, that age range was there. And I believe the youngest contestant that I saw was 13 years old. She went as a dancer and she was really good. If I remember right, I think she passed the first round, or maybe wrong. I don't know. I kind of forgot. But yeah, so there was a variety of ages there, and a variety of like different race and color there. So it wasn't just all like Asian. No, we had like African American there. We have Caucasian people there. So yeah, so a variety of ages and race. The next pro that I had was I don't know. I think this one could be a con as well, but I kind of put it in the pro because it's like, it's a positive thing, and that is that out of like 300 or the 400 people that auditioned, maybe like 20 people passed. And so, and that's probably the reason why I put it on pro, because just the fact that people did pass at least the first round of auditions was a good thing. Like, congrats to those people. I hope they went on to the third round and they got accepted to Esteem Entertainment. So that's I think that's a good thing. The next one is the show, the Korean show Boss in the Mirror. Had cameras there, so they were shooting I guess an episode, or filming the audition for the show. So if you guys don't know what Boss in the Mirror is, it's actually just this, it's a show off of KBS. I actually haven't seen it or don't know what it's about, but it is a show from KBS. It's an actual show. Um, so yeah, I think like you kind of just make you feel like like even if it didn't pass, like maybe you'll show up on like Korean television. So and that's a good one. Let's see. The next one I had was that um, I don't know. This is one of those things that could be bad or good. But at the same time, I think for me personally, it was a good thing. It was that everything went by pretty fast. Once it started, so it was like the audition was the doors opened like we were supposed to be in line at the location by 10 a.m. and the audition was officially supposed to start at 11 a.m. I think for me, I got out about maybe 2 o'clock. So again, considering that there was like 300 to 400 people there, I think that was pretty fast. Um, and then the last one that I have that is a pro for me is that the judges, excuse me, the judges spoke English. So like Korean wasn't a requirement. And this is good for me because I'm actually not Korean, and unfortunately, I don't speak Korean as well. Um, but yeah, again, the judges spoke English, or everything was in English. Obviously, because it was in New York, but at the same time, it was like Korean wasn't required. So yeah, those are my pros and cons of auditioning for Esteem, and then I will end it off with some tips that I hope will benefit you guys, wherever if you guys ever plan to audition for Esteem or like SM or just like any plan for any audition in the near future. So, the first tip that I have for you guys is audition, audition, audition. Don't stop going to auditions. Like literally, sometimes that's how you get in. Showing your perseverance, your commitments, your dedication to achieving your dreams is a good thing to have. You think about like a lot of the idols that are currently working in the industry right now. A lot of them like went to like at least 20 to I don't know 100 auditions before they were officially accepted into like an agency. So with that said, again, audition, 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 no matter what it is, like if it's like for an American audition or Korea or just audition. Don't stop auditioning until you get a role. The next one is actually pretty personal because it does affect me. Is that if you're like in your mid to late 20s and you're just auditioning, expect not to pass, because it's like this unspoken thing where they don't, or they will unlikely pass or accept you if you're older, unless you're like extremely talented and have years of like experience and professional training behind you. Then they probably won't take you, because like just as in general, if you're trying to like join an idol group, the typical age for them to debut is like, the cutoff age is like 25. So unless they're planning to like debut a group right away once they accept you and they really like you and they want you to join that group, then they probably won't take you, because that would include training you. And because you're training in general I think the average is like 3 to 5 years of training. So that would mean that by the time you're done training, you're 30 years old. So and that's just way too old to way too old for them to be able to like invest anything in you, really, unless you're trying to go for like as an actress or something like that. But again, unless you have like years like experience behind you, they probably won't accept you. Which is, it sounds bad, but again, it's okay. Like, you'll live, you'll survive. The next one is I guess it's kind of confidence. Definitely have confidence, like just confidence, but not like over the top. I wouldn't even say like just how you dress every day, unless your everyday look is like sweats or like smelly clothes or something like that. I don't know, but just how you dress every day. Make sure they see who you are and how you dress and how you act. You know, along with kind of that confidence thing, like be confident, but at the same time be likable. You know, don't be overly like confident where you're like, oh, I'm too good for this, because I don't know, like just in general, you're like they're judging you. You want them to like you. If they're, you want them to accept you because they like you. I don't know, but moving on. Let's see. I think this one's like, the next one is treat it like a job interview, because it's an audition, but it's for a job. You know, it's for a singing job, it's for an acting job, it's for a modeling job, it's for a job. So when they say like introduce yourself, like it's kind of like saying tell us about yourself. So talk about yourself, talk about your experiences, what you've done, and sort of like what you hope to achieve. So definitely, again, treat it like an interview. And then the last one I have for you guys, or the last tip I have for you guys, is that just because you did not pass does not mean that you are not talented. You know, just in general, like SM, YG, JYP, Cube, all those entertainments, they cut a lot of people out. Like, and a lot of those people are talented people. So, again, just because you didn't pass this time doesn't mean that you're not talented. And it kind of goes back to my first tip, is that audition. Because you're talented, you know you're talented, and maybe along the way during one of those auditions, someone will see it too and be like, no, this is the one, this is the person we need for our agency. So yeah, those are the last tips that I have for you guys. Thank you so much again for clicking on this video. I hope you guys have gained and learned something new, and I don't know, enjoy this video, even though it's just me talking without any editing. So yeah, have a wonderful night. Best of luck to whoever has a future audition coming up. Bye.